talking about the handstand push-up. If you remember our last video, we talked about inversion, getting comfortable upside down. Next step, 2 movements, the kipping handstand push-up and the strict handstand push-up. Today we're going to be mostly talking about just talking about the handstand push-up, but I want you guys to keep in mind that the strict handstand push-up is a tool that if you don't have going into the handstand push-up, that's fine. The biggest thing before you decide whether or not you're ready for handstand push-ups is whether or not you can control the negative. So that's once you kick up, can you lower yourself into the proper position without crashing down onto the head and compressing the neck. So that's the big key when I have my athletes, are they ready or not to move into handstand push-ups, is whether or not they can control that descent. So with that being said, the strict handstand push-up is still a skill movement that you want to focus on because it's going to help you develop it's a skill transfer to other movements, helping you get stronger. It's also probably going to make you more efficient in handstand push-ups if you have a few under your belt. So, having said the handstand push-up, we're going to start. Okay, so assuming you can now kick up to the wall, hold a handstand to full lockout. The next piece, or the starting piece, is the bottom position. Okay, this is your perfect tripod position. I also call this the perfect pushing position. So when you get down to the bottom, you should be able to have a nice triangle between your hands and your head when you're upside down. Okay, the perfect pushing position here, if you think about it, it's the same position minus being on your head that you would do a push-up. Same as anything shoulder to overhead. It's just the strongest position for us pushing. You would never take somebody, if I were to say, hey, take this 200-pound guy, push him over, you're never going to come at him with your elbows out, just like we don't do push-ups with our elbows out. It's not a strong, stable position for the shoulders. Same thing with our handstand push-ups. You pull everything in and push from there. So, also, next, weight in hands. This is super important. As you come down, you want to make sure that most of the weight is in your hands, your arms, and not resting on your head. If this happens, you're going to find that the punch out here in the next piece that we're going to talk about is going to be more difficult. So, next, moving in too. So once you're at the bottom of your handstand push-up, we're going to go into loading the kip. Okay, so the big thing with loading the kip starts in the hips. When you are in that position, the biggest thing is butt and back. You want to be on the wall. You want this to be on the wall because this is going to help with balance. Right? And then from there, we're going to go knees to elbows. And I always stress knees to elbows. And the reason why I go knees to elbows versus knee to chest, biggest thing is when you're moving fast, balance. Also, to more range of motion. So when you get more range of motion, you get more hip power that's going to make the kip a little bit easier. So a couple of things. When we're upside down, we're going to talk about, I want you to watch kind of where my hands are in relation to my head to getting into that tripod. So I'm here, I'm lowering nice and controlled, and I'm in my perfect. Elbows are inside the body, not, see, already there, hard to balance, not outside. So you're going to go in. Okay, loading of the kip, the hip, you're going back and butt against the wall, knees out here. This makes it a little bit harder, especially if you don't have that flexibility here, to the punch. Okay. So, perfect tripod position. Make sure your elbows are inside. Make sure the weight is in your hands, not in your head. And then make sure that you are back and butt on the wall, pulling your knees to your elbows. Okay, from there, the next piece is going to be the punch out. So I call it the punch out because you're punching, I tell everybody, you're punching with your hands, you're punching the ground away from you, you're punching with your hips and that kip. So this is all about timing. So the time that you drive your hips forward or upward, you have to be pushing the ground away from you at the same time. Okay? A lot of times I see people that will either drive their hips really hard, they have a nice aggressive hip, but they forget to push and lock out with their arms. So you might notice as coaches or athletes, if you do this, you kind of get a little bit of air in between you and you feel like you're almost there, and then you come back down and crash into the mat. That's what's happening. You're not using your arms to finish the press or the lockout. Or I have people that will sometimes gradually, kind of nice and easy, think that they're punching with their legs and then try to strict press using their arms, which is not very efficient as well. So it's all about timing, and it's all about being aggressive. Okay? Being aggressive, nice strong hips. So again, let's go to the wall, let's look, we'll do a few handstand push-ups. We'll do a few from the side, a few from front. Okay, so that is your handstand push-up. So for those of you that have a handstand push-up, maybe want to work on speed and efficiency, which would be decreasing your cycle time. There's a couple ways you can look at this. One of them is, I tell people once they get pretty efficient with their handstand push-up, you can start actually bringing your knees, when you go into the descent of the push-up, start bringing your knees into the chest at the same time instead of waiting till you're in the tripod to load. So I'll show you what that looks like. And then the other is maybe decreasing your kip. So if you're pretty strong with shoulder to overhead body weight, you're pretty efficient, you can go more from your knees. Different ways that you can work on speed and efficiency, decreasing your cycle time in the handstand push-up. So that's it for Karhu Academy handstand push-ups.